Tennessee Senator, member of that subcommittee, Senator Marsha Blackburn is joining me right now to talk more about that. And Senator, it was a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. What should we expect out of this hearing today? What do you want to get from this?
Maria, what we want to do is figure out exactly what is happening and why. And this is one of those cases where you're going to see committee members move forward on the information that we get. We'll go where the information takes us so that we get to the bottom of this. The safety of the flying public is an imperative. And when you look at what has transpired over the last few weeks, we are ready to figure this out and talk with those that are going to come before us today and make certain that Boeing addresses this situation.
So you've got Boeing executives coming before you today, right, Senator?
Correct.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is do a pretty good deep dive into what has transpired in this area. Aviation safety is important. The safety of the flying public is important. So we're ready to take on the task.
All right. Well, we'll be watching that to see if any news comes out of it, Senator. But let me ask you about what happened yesterday, that Green No Deal, right? Yeah. The Senate voted 57-0 against this procedural motion to take up the controversial Green New Deal, which has been championed by freshman Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Most Democrats voted present, protesting the GOP's quick action. What happened? How did you read yesterday's move?
Well, I think what you saw from the Democrats was profiles in cowardice, if you will. They chose to vote present. And I find it just so unseemly that all of these individuals running for president would have no comment, if you will. And after they've been out campaigning, they have co-sponsored this. And then when we put it on the floor and say, where are you on this bill? They say, we're going to vote present and remain silent. And the thing that is so interesting about this is you had some of these individuals out holding a rally prior to the vote. And they were out near the Capitol. What do we want? Green New Deal. When do we want it? Now. And of course, they walk in the Capitol and vote present. So that is what you call cowardice, when you can't tell people where you are on an issue.
Well, I don't even understand this. I mean, the Journal, in its op-ed this morning, which I'm sure you saw, says only in Congress should a political party introduce legislation with great media fanfare, then vote against it and blame the other side for cynicism.
That's right.
I mean, but this legislation or bill has 90 co-sponsors in the House, 12 co-sponsors in the Senate. And even though they've got all these co-sponsors, they won't vote for it because they know that it doesn't make sense. Why?
I think that they realize it is $93 trillion, and that is over a 10-year period of time. It would increase the cost of your annual electricity bills to $3,800 per family. That is the amount of increase. To implement the full thing would be $600,000 over 10 years for the average American family. So it is unaffordable. It is unattainable. The technology doesn't exist to do it. You would never have a hamburger and forget about flying coast to coast.
Yeah. But, I mean, do you think that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez knows this? Because every time we bring it up to her supporters, they say, well, this is just a framework. You know, what do you say to the pushback? So, well, where's your plan on climate change? Even though we know that emissions have come down quite a bit in the last 10 years due to the corporate sector and advances being made in technology as well.
That is correct. Innovation is what is leading to cleaner air and cleaner water. And we know that, and we appreciate that. But when you look at what they're trying to do, it is an old socialistic style takeover. And it is a government takeover of your life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things like that, though, right, Senator? I mean, you've got the Medicare for All. You've got, you know, that's going to cost $36 trillion. That's Bernie Sanders' plan. Elizabeth Warren and her tax on wealth. 70% tax rates from AOC, and then the Green Deal from AOC. And yet Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib is doubling down on calls to impeach President Trump. She's asking fellow Democrats to sign a resolution questioning, quote, whether or not the president committed impeachable offenses. So we just got the Mueller report. We know that this whole narrative has been a lie. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is now dialing back her talk on impeachment. Here's what she said yesterday. Watch this. Got to get your reaction here.
Sure.
Is impeachment off the table at this point?
The impeachment is not on the table until it is on the table, so it's not a question of that. We're on our agenda. We are doing what we said we were going to do in the campaign, and that's what we're doing.
So how do you assess all of that, Senator?
It is more of, we have to pass it to read it to find out what's in it.
Right.
She's got this agenda, and but nobody knows what the agenda is. More cooking in secret. I will tell you this, Maria. President Trump is doing great. He is focused. He is ready to turn the table and move to health care and solve some of those problems. The economy is doing well. Families are doing well. Regulation has been reduced. We are focused on bringing jobs back. Yes. And now let's deal with health care. And the president is full steam ahead. I think he is doing fine. And, you know, I say many times, people in Tennessee are not interested in the story of the day. They're interested in the story of their lives.
Right.
And their lives are better because of the work that Republicans and this president have done.
Yeah, well, the policies obviously have moved the needle on economic growth, Senator. We'll be watching the upcoming debates on health care and
Sure.
where you could take this, certainly this year, and whether or not the Congress gets back to work in terms of actual legislation to help people's lives rather than finger-pointing and fake investigations, frankly. Got to give Nancy Pelosi credit. I heard her birthday was yesterday, 79. She's been strong all these years, so good for her.
Yes.
Happy birthday to her. Senator, good to see you. Thanks
indeed.
So much.
Good to see you.
Senator Marsha